Well, thank you all so much. This is a very special night, but for me, even more special that I get to do it with some people I consider to be genuine friends with President Venvez and Ambassador Garza. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your leadership. It's also special to do it with my fellow honorees tonight, and I'm honored to be among their ranks. I also want to thank someone who's been a big help to me throughout my entire public career here in Austin, Texas, who's with us tonight. And that is my first assistant, Daniel Hodge. Daniel, where are you? You know, for me, the University of Texas was always far more than just a university. It was like a religious belief. It was literally part of my DNA from my very youth. Pretty much everybody in my family went to the University of Texas. My father, my brother, my uncle, my cousin. When I was 10 years old, living in Longview, Texas at the time, my father and I would gather by the radio and listen to Longhorn football games as they battled on the field. Whenever Texas would have a losing game, I tell you, I learned cuss words I had never imagined before. But I was captivated by the University of Texas and the Longhorns. I had a pennant of the University of Texas tacked up on my wall in my bedroom. And etched into my soul was the game of the century. Now, because this is in the Longhorn Network, that was the game of last century, not this century. For me as a young kid, the 1969 game between Texas and Arkansas was a teaching moment. Texas was ranked number 1, Arkansas was ranked number 2. But going into the fourth quarter, Texas trailed 14-0. Unable to score during the entire game, the outcome looked hopeless for the Longhorns. But then, out of nowhere, running a magical play, James Street scampered for a long touchdown run and a 2-point conversion. But the outcome still looked bleak with just more than 4 minutes left in the game. It seemed like the University of Texas had come to the end of its rope with a 4th down and 3 yards to go on its own 47-yard line. Coach Royal had one last play to call. And who would have thought that he would call for a long pass? James Street completed what is now that historic pass to Randy Peschel, a 44-yarder, where a few plays later, Texas was able to score the winning touchdown. Moments later, Texas was proclaimed the national champion, the best in the United States of America. That is when I first realized that it doesn't matter how much you're down. What matters is how you come back. What matters is how you respond to when it is that you're challenged. To coin a phrase, then as a youth, I was hooked on the University of Texas. Well, when I got to the University of Texas, it was everything that I expected and more. By God, it even had a library in the shape of the state of Texas, sort of. I loved walking across this beautiful campus, looking into grand buildings and trying to imagine the knowledge that was being learned in there. From the campus, I was able to peer down Congress Avenue and look at the Capitol and wonder if maybe I would work there one day. I doubted it. So I changed my major from political science to finance so I could have a good job when I graduated. But when I did graduate, I left with far more than a degree. I left with a fiancé. As President Finbez mentioned, Cecilia and I met when we lived in the Castilian dorm. We married the August after I graduated, and this past August, we celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. The only thing distinguished about me is what Cecilia has helped me become. Cecilia Abbott has been a fabulous First Lady for the state of Texas. Well, the last time that I walked across the beautiful campus of the University of Texas was in May 1981. 3 years later, I would never walk again. Despite a life-changing accident, I was able to overcome enormous obstacles in part because of a wonderful wife, but also in part because of the lesson that was instilled in me as a youth by the Fighting Texas Longhorns. Don't ever give up. It doesn't matter how much you're down or how dire the circumstances are. What matters is how we respond. For me and for our state, the University of Texas has always been more than just a school. It is a symbol of what it means to strive to be the very best. As President Finbez recounted, as I said in my interview, Texas is great, but great is not good enough. For Texas, the only acceptable ranking is number 1. And I will never give up in our relentless quest to make that happen. Hook 'em horns.